Today we are going to talk about architecture, which is the design process for making houses. And we are going to look at some houses from Buffalo, and then we're going to try to recreate them with cardboard. Before we get started, we're going to quickly look at 4 different types of architecture that we have in Buffalo. This is a federal style house. It's basically a simple rectangular box, and the focus is on the main entryway. So that's right in the center, and everything else is kind of evenly spaced around it. This is from the late 1700s to early 1800s. Okay, and this next one is a Victorian style house. So the cool part about these houses is they were made possible by the Industrial Revolution. So there were new means of producing things, and so the houses became really ornate because people could decorate them in more ways than they had been able to before. So these were from the early 1800s to the early 1900s. So this is a Tudor revival house. These were popular in the late 1800s to the mid 1900s. These were modeled to look like medieval cottages and really old buildings, and trying to imitate that style. So you can see these houses have exposed beams. They're called half timbered, so they have exposed wood framing, and then there's plaster in between the wood frames, and it makes that really cool sort of decorative geometric look. Now, skipping far ahead, this is a contemporary house. I believe it was built 2 years ago. You might see more and more of these popping up in Buffalo. So they're really modern looking. They have slanted roofs or just weird asymmetrical details, bright colors in some places, and the other parts seem to be recycled industrial parts. Okay, now that you guys have seen some different types of houses, I hope you guys are ready to build your own. So you'll need cardboard, tissue paper and glue, markers or paint, a ruler, tape, and scissors. Start by looking at the house you want to build. Think about what basic shapes your house is made out of and what shapes you already have. A house is sort of already a box, and then you have to add a roof. So I have some little boxes that are already assembled, and then I have some boxes that were from microwave meals that I have unfolded, and I'm going to cut out pieces from them to make the details for my house. So my box is square on top, and I'm using the top part to measure how big my roof needs to be. Since it's square, my roof is going to be made out of 4 equilateral triangles. So equilateral just means that the triangle sides are all exactly the same. So I'm using the box to measure that and to make straight lines. Sometimes it's hard to know what shapes you need, so you might just have to keep experimenting, or you can ask your parents. In the video, I'll show you how to deal with a square box and a rectangular box. So once you get one good triangle, you can trace it to make the other 3 that you need. I'm taping mine on the inside because I'm going to cover mine with tissue paper later, and I don't want the tape to affect the glue. So here's what your box should look like, all laid out flat, and then when it comes together, it should be pretty much a perfect pyramid. Next, I decided to add a tower to my house, so I experimented a little bit with which way I wanted it to go. The tower is a rectangular box, so I'll show you how to make a roof for one of those. So first, you'll make your triangles. One side of the triangle has to match one side of the box, and then the other 2 sides of the triangle just have to match each other. You can choose their length. And then for your rectangles, 2 sides of it have to match the triangle, and 2 sides have to match the box. Again, this is something your parents can help with, or I can help you with over Zoom. Now that you've got the basics, you can continue to add more and more details to your house. Once you settle on the final structuring, then you can cover it all with tissue paper, glue, and water. This will hold it all together. Make sure you add glue under the tissue paper, apply the tissue paper, and then put glue over it as well. So you'll cover the whole thing this way, and then once all of that dries, you can add all your final details, your paint or your markers. So paint all your base coats first, whatever color you want your house to be. And then once you're done with that and you let it dry for a little bit, you'll add your windows. You can add any other sorts of details you want. Here's my finished project. You can see I added a green door, some windows, the siding. So I can't wait to see what you guys add and what your final projects look like. See you on Zoom.